Have you ever heard of Internet of Things? It's like the fifth thing, like artificial intelligence now. You might think of it like something strange you've not heard. That sounds funny. Internet of Things. In fact, you hear IoT. But it's actually quite common. You've not thought of it. So, smart devices, our everyday objects, are embedded with sensors, software, and connectivity features. And this allows the devices, to collect and exchange data with the users, us. The Internet of Things, or IoT, refers to vast network of interconnected smart devices and systems that communicate and share data, often without direct human intervention. It can automate tasks, gather data for analysis, and enable remote control and monitoring of various systems. Maybe by now you are thinking, okay, what is that? So how can everyday objects be smart? Smart home devices. Some people now has some thermostat that is smart. So meaning if the weather is cold, it sets the temperature of the house to be warm without them having to go there and say, I want it at 25 degrees or something like that. And if the weather is warm, it sets it to be cold. So we'll also have the smart lights. You probably see that in the movie. I know it's not yet as common, but have an idea, watch movies now, we hear stories, the smart lights that can come on when people pass through it, passes in front of it or comes into the room. We have security cameras that send alerts to your phone. All these are examples of smart home devices, right? I also have smart wearables. This is one we're all used to, your smartwatch. Anybody is on that Internet of Things. And most of us will turn it on when we're exercising, when we're walking, to see our heart rate, how did we do, how much calories did we burn. Yes, so it helps us to monitor our heart rate and steps that we've taken. It can connect to our smartphone or laptop, or for notification and other functions. We have smart appliances. There are refrigerators now that can create shopping lists. So it goes through the things in the fridge and goes, no, the milk has finished, the orange has finished, and things like that. And there are ovens that can be controlled through smartphone. Yes, we probably know ovens now. You can just go turn it off and on, but there are ovens you can stay in your phone and watch what you're cooking, turn it off, turn it on, regulate your temperature without having to go to touch the oven itself. There are washing machines too that help to optimize water usage based on the load. And these are examples of smart appliances. We also have smart vehicles that come in with GPS, entertainment system that connect to your phone. We are used to this, right? And it can also use sensors for navigation, and these are part of the smart vehicles. The Internet of Things is not just for us humans, it's also used in industries by having sensors in machineries and logistics systems to optimize processes and also enable predictive maintenance. This will also help them in bookkeeping, maintenance of the machineries, so they don't need to think, when last did we maintain this, our tractor, for example, because before it breaks down, they already get a notification saying this is due for maintenance. But as awesome as Internet of Things is, and how Internet has grown on its own and how the world has become a global village, there are some things we are all worried about. There are things that are coming up in this Internet of Things. Of course, because one, we are always online as it is. So the very first thing is the vulnerability. So because these things, your smartwatches, the smart cameras you have at home, the refrigerators, they do not have so much capacity for computation. So they will most likely do not have robust security frameworks built in. And that means it's susceptible to cyber attack. Remember, we talked about security and how important it is. Also, data privacy. If something is not protected, chances are that it can be breached easy. So we're having challenges. There's challenges and discussions going on about privacy concern regarding how this data is stored, used, and protected. Because every time we are generating data, that heart rate that your watch is telling you, what happens to the storage, where does it go, who uses it to their advantage, Is it just you? Is it for you to just look at it today? How does it stored? Is it safe? Is it being breached? Is it being given to someone that you wouldn't want the person to have access to your health, or institution or organization have access to your health data, right? So this is one of the security challenges that is coming up. Also, the fact that we're also worried about it being compatible and with all the devices we have. So for example, you don't want to buy a new watch or a new smart fridge, and that means you have to get a new phone, a new laptop, a new tab, because it is not compatible with what you have. So it's a challenge that is in place, and they're trying to make sure that this doesn't happen. And same as the very first point I raised, the cyber attacks. It can be targeted by various cyber attacks. And there can be data breaches, unauthorized access, and it poses a significant risk to networks and infrastructures. The impact of Internet of Things, right? So Internet of Things, if you can think of it, the first time I heard of it, the best way I could understand it is regular things having access to internet. So no longer just my laptop, my phone, my cameras and things. Like, I don't know who thinks, maybe your table having access to internet. And when you come to the table and it notices you're standing off, the table just go off. Don't mind me, I'm just imagining. But who knows, it might be there already or might come up. So one major impact to having is network congestion, right? So because there's a lot of devices that are emitting this data, there can be congestion. Security infrastructure and internet infrastructure must evolve to handle the increased volume of IoT traffic securely and efficiently. Also, regulation. This IoT data handling falls under data regulation. There is a lot of regulation in place now that makes it safe for people, because as we know, the world is now digital, almost digital. There are regulations in place to make sure that we are safe, to make sure that our data is managed well, while we are all safe to give our data to our bank, for example, and we're not worried because there are guidelines in place to make sure that our bank do not misuse our data. There are guidelines in place to make sure that Facebook do not misuse our data, that Google do not misuse our data. Also, data from Internet of Things falls under this, and internet infrastructure need to adhere to the compliance standard to ensure data privacy and security. Isn't that interesting? So we've talked about how internet works today. So we talked about the fiber optic cable. We talked about the fact that the internet actually moves through wires under the ocean, and it's not just emitted from the satellites. And we talked about Internet of Things so you should research more on that. And sorry a sec. So if you find it interesting, you can research more on it. So today we talked about the internet and how it's a global network of interconnected computers and devices that communicate through standardized protocol, enabling seamless data transmission and access to information worldwide. We talked about networks and connectivity and how they play a crucial role in enabling each device to communicate and share resources. We also talked about Internet of Things. We introduced it, what is it, and how everyday device can be smart. All that you keep learning and you adapt to this world's rapidly evolving technological landscape. I would like you to see you guys discussing in the comment section below. You can comment and tell what was the thing you learned first. What do you think about this? Have you ever thought about how internet works? Was it interesting learning how internet works? Have you checked it out before? And what are the new aspects you notice in this lesson you'd like to check more? See you in the next one.